Okay, here we are again. Renault Gloucester. Gonna take her to London. I am back in. Oh, the Zoe. Oh, right. So this is gonna be the drive to London. And do you want to know something really, really good? It's fully charged. How about that, eh? Now, this Gloucester dealership is trying really, really hard to actually sell Renault Zoes. They're not pushing me to another car, never did. They really, really want to sell the Zoe. They're trying to learn from the experiences. I mean, it's thumbs up to them, really is. Say this time, it's exactly on 100% charge. It has been fully charged, fully prepared to go out and do this long trip. They knew where I was going, told them where I was going. I've got on the gasometer, if you want to call it that. Not quite that in a Zoe, but it says 178 miles of range. Wow, what a car to get into, and it's say 178 and not 85. I mean, that's a massive difference. Massive difference. I mean, this essentially is a long range EV by today's standards. It's, you know, I think the most I've ever got out of my Leaf by driving at about 20 miles an hour is about 110, I think it was. The most, eking it out, going really slow all day, specifically to try and see what the most I could get from it was. Arrived at exactly the wrong time. Massive queues of traffic. Spot on. Right. I really like this Zoe. Really, really like it. Really looking forward to getting mine. Supposed to be in January. Not going to pester the dealership to keep saying, when's it coming, when's it coming? But I'm looking forward to it. Another thing that is absolutely brilliant is they've ordered a 3-pin plug specifically because I said that would be a great little addition to have as security for customers. So they've actually gone out and spent the money and bought that. And that's what I'm saying again, it's that commitment to be able to push EVs and make customers feel comfortable with driving an EV that thumbs up. Now, one thing they've not that keen on is pushing that 3-pin charger. So I've had to sign a disclaimer saying basically you set fire to your house, then you know it's your responsibility, which is the same as we had with the Leaf. And I have to try and find the documentations, but we had a similar thing where Nissan were basically saying they will not be liable. I had to sign a form, all three of us did, I had to sign a form saying if your house catches fire, Nissan are not liable in any shape or form if you use that 3-pin charger. Basically don't use it. So it's quite difficult to be able to promote the use of 3-pin chargers if you're told that your house is going to catch fire if you use them. And I can see where they're coming from, Nissan and Renault, is that not really that keen on having that liability hanging over your head, because the most likely thing is that the person who's using it's fault in terms of they have got awful electrics or they're trying to charge it off an extension lead. There's nothing to stop you charging off extension lead essentially. So you keep an extension lead wound up, which you should never ever do because it's coiled up. Plug the 3-pin in, then charge it at 3 kilowatts for 12 hours, and you could probably have a melted extension lead. It's things like that you wouldn't necessarily know and just do without even thinking about it, and then come back at Renault or Nissan and say, "Oi, look what's happened! Set fire to my house." And so that's why they're not keen on pushing it. But in terms of like a lifesaver, if you're stuck out somewhere, that enables you to charge anywhere. So I love it. I love it. You can put it in the boot. If I'm in the middle of the country somewhere and I've got 2 miles left, I can be really cheeky, get £10 out of my wallet, knock on the door and say, "I'll give you this tenner, please can I plug in for an hour or 2? Just to give you enough to get possibly to a public charger, or home. And I know this because I'm speaking from experience, because I've done it once before, except for it wasn't for £10, it's for a bottle of wine and a box of chocolates. Yeah, that wasn't embarrassing at all, especially when all the trouble with putting it through their kitchen window and then the plug didn't work, and then putting it into the living room, that didn't work either, and then they had to go and find another plug and an extension lead, and then it worked. That was really, really embarrassing. But I stayed there an hour and I was able to get home and then put it on charge. So that was pretty good. So I was only about 6 miles away from home. This drive's nice. It is going to be a breath of fresh air. It really is. So glad I'm back in it before January to give it another go. So thank you actually Renault as well for letting me take this on an extended test drive. This is not normally what they do. So they're allowing me to take this, you know, they've already sold me the car, don't need to lend this back out to me. So it's lent back out to me. I'm having it, today's Thursday, I'm going to have it Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and bring it back Monday morning, or Sunday afternoon if I can get it back in time. I don't think I'm going to get back from London in time. So pretty good for that, again, showing that they actually want to truly do this. They know, you know, they know the video I did previously, there was negatives in that. They know full well that this could go, you know, could go really, really wrong. And my mic's just dropped out, can't do everything properly, and now I've got other issues. So if the audio's changed, and so they know that it could work both ways. You know, it could be a really bad review, or it could be a really good review. So we'll see. We'll see. It's tomorrow, early in the morning we're leaving, so I'll start filming tomorrow. Enough of me yapping on now, and we'll see how this trip goes. Okay, I've run it down to 112 miles. I haven't been counting the mileage as such. I've just been driving it around. Tonight it's going to go on charge, and hopefully tomorrow morning it'll be 100%. Right, let's get this plugged in. So we've got power connected and charging, and then fault. So it is currently charging. So that's pretty neat. Nice little package there. It's not humongous. It's not like the Leaf one, which is absolutely massive. This isn't a Renault specific one. It's a third-party one. But spot on. It's even got a little tab here that you could actually hang it on a wall, which is pretty nice. But okay, I'm going to leave that charging now. Interesting, you get no blue light on the front with this one. Blue light must only come on with a rapid, does it? Doesn't show it's charging, but it shows it's charging on the device itself, so I've got to assume that's right. I'll come back out in a few hours time and just check it, see if it's actually gone up. Right, it's still charging, no issues, power connected and charging, but it doesn't feel remotely warm, and I would have expected it to have some warmth to it. So I'm just going to go and check the car. So let's open this up and just have a look what it actually says now. 69%. I would guess. Oh no, it is charging. It does say time remaining 8 hours 25 minutes. Okay. Alright, it's at 69%, so at least we've got all the stats there now. I should have probably done that to start with. Come back in a couple of hours and just see. But that would signify to me that it's charging. So I think it's all good, and the flashing blue, fading in and out, that would signify charging to me as well. So I should just leave it as it is and come back in a couple of hours time. Ah, and that is actually on now. Now I've opened up the car. It was locked when I first connected it in. Now I've opened up the car. That has started flashing, which is quite nice. Okay. Well, there you go. It's charging away. And I don't think it was actually charging, because now it's flashing blue on and off, which it wasn't before. So I think I had to unlock the car, and then it started charging. I think perhaps it's expecting the car to be unlocked when you first plug it in, and then walk away and lock the car, and then it will start charging like that. So yeah, I don't actually think it was charging, so I'll come back another hour and see if that's actually warm. Another hour on, it's got a tiny little bit of warmth to it, but next to nothing at all. So that's pretty good. So it doesn't get hot, this device, which is quite nice. Okay, we're about an hour and a bit later. Now, an interesting thing I've actually seen, if I go around to the car, it's all locked up, but it actually displays for you how it's getting on. So it shows it is charging up, and it's on, just gone to 75% now, with 6 hours and 55 minutes to go till it's fully charged. It's just gonna be enough time, considering we're leaving about 4:30 tomorrow morning, 4:45. Okay, 4:30 in the morning. That's stopped flashing blue. Let's go and check the car. So that goes to show. What? That's the radio. That goes to show, if I get a light on here, oh hello, that it doesn't set fire to your house. I didn't even get remotely warm, to be fair, which is pretty good. No issue whatsoever. It's pitch black. The rear wiper is coming on automatically. Oh, sensors, good. So yeah, successful charge with the 3-pin plug on the Zoe, which is not a it's not a usual. I can't get the lights to come on. There we go. Weird, they're on auto lights, I think. Yeah, successful charge on the 3-pin plug. Right, so I need to put all my stuff in the boot. Allow for Mike to get in. Zoe. Woo, and there she is. Doing really well. Done about 100, what have we done? We got about 119 miles left, or 100 miles, no, sorry, 97 miles left on the range. I think we've got about 60 odd miles, thereabouts. So I'll pull up the stats when we get back in. Just pop in for some breakfast. Right, what is the percentage going to be? Let's have a look. So we've got 90 miles left, 57% battery, and I travelled 65 miles. It's actually slightly more, about 65 and a half, 66. 90 miles left. Awesome. Okay, you've got 129.8 miles, 130 miles travelled with 32 miles left on it. So yeah, absolutely cracking. Got all the way to London without even needing a charge, and I've got 32 miles left to get back to the place we're staying. So it's pretty good. This is not warm at all. For some reason it thinks this is 21 and we're absolutely freezing in here. But yeah, that's the only criticism so far. That doesn't seem to do it. Just sort of whack it up to about there. Even if it's on auto, it makes no difference. It's a bit strange. There we are. So it's the evening. It's about 10 o'clock in the evening. Got back to Mike's dad's place. So it's only 21 miles away. So we left it on charge all day. He was able to just plug in up outside, which is pretty awesome, and it had 100 miles on it. So that's pretty neat. And we're just about to plug it into a garage now. Leave it on overnight. It probably won't get a full charge, but we'll see what it says in terms of timing. Easy as that. Flashing blue, all charging. And we got a blue flashing here as well. And it's 47%. And it's got 15 hours and 40 minutes. So it's 10 o'clock at night. So obviously it won't be charged by the morning, but we'll have loads in there and better charge all day tomorrow, hopefully, if we get this parking spot again. Right, we're just about to leave. So it's got 88% charge since it's been on all night. Only 3 hours, 35 minutes left, so we're actually gaining. So when we go back today to the conference and then charge up, it'll be closer to 100 than it was when we left. So it's slowly getting there. I think by the final day, actually, just on Trickle alone, with no public paid charging, it'll actually back up to 100% when we finally leave. Let's turn that off. This is working really well. Tiny little bit of warmth, nothing at all. I was expecting this to get quite warm stroke hot, and it's not really. You can hardly detect anything, so that's really good. And get warm, no risk of fire at all if you're plugging it into a mains outlet. Turn that off. But to disconnect this, seems to happen, this gets locked in. So unlocking that allows you to do it, which is quite good. Stops people at least taking this end out anyway. Okay, put that in there. It does something. Does it boot up the car? What's it do? It does. So 157 miles available to do. That is pretty neat, isn't it? That is pretty neat. So in total done 161.3 miles. And just to be clear, that hadn't actually booted up the car by putting that key in there. It's just done something, like put it in a middle mode. A bit like a Leaf when you take your foot off the brake and you press the pedal once. Let's just turn it off and see what happens if I remove that key. Right, it's done that, and now I'm going to put my foot on the brake and put the key in there. No, that's not done it. Now I press the start button. Now it's working. There you go. Okay, second day finished. We're back and we're on 131 miles. I've done 225 miles so far. 11:26 PM. So I'm going to put that on charge. But stuck in London traffic for hours probably 3 hours, approximately. Oh, up goes the door. Get this plugged in, on charge for the night. Hopefully we'll be at 100% by tomorrow morning. It's on 75%, and it's going to take 7 hours to charge up to 100%, so it won't be charged to 100% by tomorrow because we're leaving earlier than that. 100%. Awesome. Perfect. And that is what 100% looks like. How awesome is that? %, and we're heading home from London. By a bin, but thank you, outside charge point. 195 miles available now, it says, on 100% charge. So if you're driving around London, that's probably what you'll get. We won't get that going back, but that's pretty neat. So we are on our way down. There's the mileage now, which you can compare to what it was when we set off. Got 83 miles left, and I've just been going 72 miles an hour on the dashboard here, which is going to be about 70, presuming the speedo is exactly accurate, and that has been absolutely brilliant. It's been like driving a normal car, whereas with the Leaf I'd probably go in, because of the range it can do, sort of 60 miles an hour to 65 to be able to get the maximum out of it, whereas this is just sort of, you don't have to worry, just been travelling along with the other traffic. And it's raining as well, which is not that handy for range, but so far absolutely brilliant. Right, I'm back at work and got 20 miles remaining, and I'm heading off back home now, which is about 8 miles away. Drop mic off. The mileage at the moment is 386.70 for the entire weekend so far. And this car has been remarkable. It has been a joy to drive, it really has. Seats have been really, really comfortable. Didn't think they would be, but I've got qualification to say that they are now. One, I've been in the Leaf for 4 years, more or less. And these now, I've driven this car, so from the conference centre to back to where we were staying, it's an hour and a half each way, 3 hours a day, 3 days. So we did 3-6, the last day was an hour and a half, so 7.5 hours in the central London sat in this car. So we've done 7.5. Say goodbye to Mike, who's just gone behind. Yeah, I've done 7.5 hours just sat in this car in traffic, so I've got used to the whole thing. Been sat in this seat for 7.5 hours, plus the 3.5 hours up, and we've just done the 3.5 hours back down. So what's that, 7 plus 7, 14, 15 hours approximately, 14.5, 15 hours in this car over approximately 400 miles. Really good car. Can't wait to get mine, cannot wait to get mine. I'm really, really looking forward to it. And I've been able to drive, so on the motorway back, as I said, I've been doing 70 miles an hour. No problem. No problem. Obviously you'd go slower if you wanted to, you'd eke even more miles out of it, but I'm doing, what have I done, 140 miles I'm going to get out of this. After basically, apart from a little bit now, the last 10 miles of the journey, it's all been on dual carriageway and mostly motorway. So, yeah, exceptional. The charger that I've been using, the 3-pin, because I didn't want to pay for any charging specifically, as in go to a public charge point. That takes ages, absolutely hours to charge this battery. You're talking 17 hours or something. Now, actually, when I plug it in, it'll be quite close to the lowest it can be. I mean, it says I can do 19 miles on this now. That's going to go down to, I'll just try and pick up speed, put full throttle down to get up to speed, just to try and wear that out as much as possible. So when I get back home, that should be that down to about 10 probably. So I have 10 miles remaining, which you wouldn't want to leave home with 10 miles remaining, would you? Unless you're doing a couple of miles. So I'll run that down and I'll see what happens when I plug the 3-pin plug in. I'll try and see what it says I can actually do. Sorry, how long it's actually going to take. And I'll tell you how long it'll take. Then that's a 10 amps, so it's like the slowest you can get. But the good thing about that is that it doesn't get hot at all. It's hassle free. It's not like it gets boiling hot and you've got a risk of fire. It just works. As long as you're plugging it directly into a proper wired socket, and you're not overloading any sockets, and that works really well. So I think actually I'll get one of those. It isn't the official Zoe one, and it's not a lot of money. I think it's 300 quid or below 300 quid. So definitely worth it because it means you can go anywhere and just have it in the boot. You know, well, I can't have it in the boot because I've got a dog, but have it on the back seat or under the car seat. So pull it out and plug in anywhere pretty much. So yeah, I have been well impressed. So I'll just show you now when I get home. I'll show you what it's going to be when I plug the 3-pin in, how long it's going to say for when it's pretty low battery. In terms of it is a kind of guessometer because I managed to get it into neutral for some time, just to see, as in no power being used and no regenning. I managed to get it into that zone for a long period of time. It's about a 3-mile run, and it actually went up the counter, said how many more miles I could actually do without any regeneration. So it is obviously looking at how much power consumption you're using and trying to give you an estimate based on that. It doesn't jump up and down like the Leaf so much, which is pretty good, and it is actually pretty accurate to the dot for this whole journey. So from London to here, a 3.5-hour journey, it's basically been right the whole time. You know, it's changed 1 or 2 miles at a time, but in all, it's pretty accurate. I think you can probably more or less rely on it till bar the last 10 miles maybe, probably 5 to be fair. It seems accurate. Yeah, it does seem accurate, so well impressed with that. The heating has been a bit naff. It's on 21 degrees now. It isn't 21 in here. It's far from 21. It's 12 degrees outside, and you can put it on 23 and hardly anything happens at all. And the only way I've really made to get it hot is by putting it up to 26, which is the maximum unless you just put it on the red dot. The other thing is it doesn't mist up anywhere near as much as the Leaf. Now, whether majority of Leafs, bearing in mind that I know 4 people, one other is parents and the others are Mike and Susie and myself, they all missed up. All those Leafs missed up. So whether they leak somewhere, and I know there was a problem with the pipes with the air conditioning, that isn't what I'm talking about, where it leaks into the footwell. It's not from there. None of us got that problem. It just, yeah, they just all missed up. Constantly having to have the demister on. Whereas these doors have been open whilst it's been raining to get some stuff out the boot, transfer to Mike's car, and we still ain't misted it. I got a bit of a wet t-shirt. No issues. Really good. Well impressed with it. Well impressed with it. Slightly smaller profile car as well, which is a benefit in some situations, especially in London. I have had a bit of a boo-boo. I'm really disappointed, really gutted. I've marked up the rear alloy, did a U-turn in the road, and it nicked the flipping back alloy. So just put a mark on this, so I have to, when I take it back, I have to say really sorry. Scratched up the alloy. Flipping annoying. I was not happy about that. I hate getting something that someone kindly lends you and then you break it. So that's the only real downer I've got on it. In terms of the range, spot on. Absolutely spot on. Love it. Absolutely love it. Right, I'm going to get home now and I'll tell you what the charge is going to be. It's on 14 miles. It's probably going to stay about 14 miles by the time I land home. And I'll plug in and see what the 3-pin said. And thanks very much for watching. Please like, subscribe, share, all that stuff. There's links below, or information below as well in the description to look at. But I hope this video has helped you. It's quite a short one, but it's, you know, I've been in it now for 14, 15 hours of further driving, and I'm impressed with it. I'm not any. It's not like I've suddenly gone, oh man, I can sit in a seat. It's like it's terrible. No, but it's a blissful car to drive. It's really nice. The handling's really nice. Braking's good. The regen's good. Regen works out really well. In the end, it seems to amount to pretty much what the Leaf is. It feels real weak to start with, but I've tested it on some roads where I know where the Leaf comes to a stop or slows right down to about 30, i.e. going into a 30 from a 60, and this ends up pretty much the same. So yeah, impressed. Cheers guys, bye. Okay, 16 miles remaining. That's the mileage by the time I got home, 39170. That's how much I've done in total, so almost 400 miles on it over the weekend. And so, answer the question, 24 hours, so it's 10% battery, 24 hours remaining. Wow. Okay, 24 hours.